But you have another side. Embrace it with a machine that's worthy of you. Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo, powered by Intel Core i7 processors.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2020 Chisholm Invitational. My name is Chuai, and to my right, I believe, on the camera here is my good friend Formal. How you going, Formal? You going right? You can't hear me. Have to speak up. All right. Well, I'll carry it on while we figure that one out. So, welcome to the first round of the Chisholm Invitational. We are going to be watching many a game over the coming weeks. So, I mean, I just have to carry this one because apparently Max can't hear me. It's fine. It's all good. We are waiting for the game to start, but we want to also just thank our huge sponsor as well, Lenovo, for coming in and helping us out as much as we can. Oh, off to a great start. Max, are you there?
Yeah,
Can you...
now I can hear you. There we go.
Awesome. I was just telling everyone how amazing you are, and I mean, you're gonna have to tell them about yourself. Who are you? Where did you come from?
Well, apparently I just disappeared, so I'm not too sure. Okay, there. No, I did come back. Yeah, so name's Max. I yell at the video games, League of Legends, Rocket League. That's pretty much the gist of it all. I like how we've zoomed right into my face as well,
Yeah.
so you can see my glorious kitchen. It's a bit of a shame, but you know, I'm here, you're here. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's just jump straight into this game as soon as possible. I mean, I'm ready to commentate over some League. I don't know about you, but for today's match, we have SPCC Free Jungle versus AQUINAS AQ. So SPCC, one of the strongest schools in general, as they do have the team of colors, which are the force to be reckoned with. And I'd say probably the highest seed in this entire tournament. So hopefully that school-wide, the school-wide talent can pass off onto Free Jungle. But we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, you've kind of hit the nail on the head right there. SPCC, one of the largest names within the Queensland high school League of Legends scene. They do quite well in UQ's tournament. They tend to go far. Both years they made pretty deep runs. Didn't quite get all the way to the end. So when these smaller side tournaments pop up, yeah, you kind of expect them to rock up, kind of like the big kid on campus, you know, just draw that attention and just sort of kind of walk over the top of everyone at times, but that's the colors. That's not necessarily the younger brother team, which is Free Jungle we're seeing right here. So I'll be curious to see if younger brother can rise up in big brother's footsteps. That said, it looks like we're already going into our picks and bans.
Yeah, we're already jumping into champion selection, so we'll wait for that to jump over. But I was just about to say, it'd be very interesting to see, you know, if anyone does bully the little brother, whether like SPCC colors comes through and then just like has that little bit of family retribution there. But there we go, jumping immediately over into the picks and bans. We're seeing a Nasus banned out and a Nocturne as well. Nasus, primarily someone who's staying in the top lane, and the Nocturne, definitely a great jungle pick there. A lot of map-wide pressure once he hits 6.
Yeah, Nocturne, one of those junglers are now seeing that sort of resurgence in popularity after, you know, that early game gank meta has kind of gone on more of the back end. You're allowed to farm to level 6 now. It's okay, you can do it. And Nocturne, one of the biggest level 6 power spikes junglers, especially in a game with an elo similar to this. Now, this is high school League of Legends. We're not looking at the OPL or, you know, the top tier pro scene yet. Who never know, some of these players may get there one day, but right now this is still sort of, you know, still learning the game, still understanding the fundamentals, still learning how to play as a team. So when you have a pretty straightforward, easy jungle to use like Nocturne, who has such a major spike at level 6, he could be massive in a game like this. So that is why he is probably taken away as a priority ban.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the thing is with Nocturne, just to jump back onto that single ban, I mean, we're not going to see him. We're giving Nocturne a lot of airtime, but it helps a lot with the team synergy, because if you pick up, say, someone then like a TF, you can basically two-man gank from anywhere in the map straight onto bot lane. But we won't be seeing that today. What we are seeing is a Leona ban and a Darius ban. Darius ban, incredibly smart. That man has persisted throughout the entire meta all of this year, just as a beefy juggernaut. And then on the other side, an Ezreal and an Azir ban. The Azir ban definitely targeted towards the mid lane.
Yeah, the Azir ban makes a lot of sense when you look at Did I Ask's champion pool. It pretty much consists of the Emperor from Shurima. And Nautilus, though, will be the priority pick going over to the blue side. And this is something we kind of actually discussed about a little bit before, sort of that support meta and where it sits. I did highlight Nautilus as kind of being one of those top 5 supports right now. Obviously, TMP looking forward to be taking the Nautilus onto the Rift set, rising in popularity since his relief. There's been a good flex pick right now, although we could be revealing where he's going if that J4 gets locked in. I don't want to see J4 just yet. I think a Morgana is a good pick, and that's the direction we go.
That's a Kai'Sa, my friend.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Their faces look the exact same, but yeah, I should read, I suppose. That's important. I can read the name.
But even then, that set can still be a flex pick. Whether it is jumping, say, in the top lane, in the jungle, or there was a resurgence as set Omnistone support. So, I mean, again, in this meta, we don't really know what is going to happen. So we'll just kind of wait and see what pops up. The Renekton being locked in there, most likely for the top lane, and we'll see what the final pick is. I mean, the world is their oyster, whether they do want to pick, say, a jungler or their AD carry, since they already do know the AD carry for the enemy team. Probably would be smartest there, but we'll see what happens. 1 second to go. Did they lock in anyone? Akali at the last second.
Okay, haven't seen too much Akali in recent months, but that's all right. It could be one of those comfort picks. I'm assuming that's going to be going in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Probably as a blind pick right now, and that's reasonable. Akali has pretty free poke. You can play it relatively safe until you sort of get your big one item power spike, start to roam, start to try to find those kills. Nico gonna get locked in response. And this is another one we haven't seen in a while. I suspect it will be the Glacial Augment Nico of months past. A very safe laner, something that can survive an all-in from an Akali if played correctly. I'm definitely liking sort of the pick and counter pick action right now. Going back to that set in particular, the more I think about it, the more I'm starting to realize that probably is going to be a support set.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, the Nico could run support. I know there was a period of my League of Legends journey where I was like, Nico is the coolest champion, and I tried to run Nico AD top, and it didn't work, and I was like, you know what? I'll do Nico support, and it had like an abysmal win rate, and I was like, a little disheartened. Doesn't mean that it won't work, but I feel like just because of the fact that you look at the set, you look at the Nico, like they're these weird flex picks that like the bans on the other side, they don't really know what to ban out. I mean, there's a Morgana ban, so definitely just getting rid of that.
No, and this is important, okay? Look at Kai'Sa's face, look at Morgana's face. Yes. Both purple, both the same expression, each looking to the left. We can understand how mistakes like these are made. That is all I'm going to say about the Morgana ban. All right. Okay. Moving on. Graves is going to get banned away. I like this. I very highly rate Graves as a jungler right now. I think he can be played at any skill level and always have that impact. The collateral damage can absolutely turn a team fight around. So getting him out of the equation, super, super smart. We're really shortening these jungle pools right now. There still are some good picks like Olaf available. I kind of want to see one of these teams go that direction. In particular, I actually would almost want to see SPCC on the red side take it in this instance, because I think they need some of that more run at you engage. They hovered the Jarvan before, though, and that's what they're going to lock.
Yeah. And it also does look like they missed out on a ban opportunity there. So whether that will affect them or not. But unfortunately, that's just the timer ran out. Maybe they were deliberating a little bit too hard and didn't see the clock. I've done it personally in so many games of League where, you know, you just worry about it. But there's the jungler, a Master Yi. There's a lot of solo carry potential coming from the blue side there.
So Master Yi does have a stronger late game than a champion, I suppose, like Olaf, but I still feel Olaf does what Master Yi does, but a little bit better. So I'm not entirely thrilled with that pickup. However, two things to take into consideration, especially when you look at that missed band. Nerves and comfort. They go hand in hand. I think nerves actually could have been a big reason why we saw that ban miss. There's a little bit of team chatter, a little bit of team banter beforehand, and each side actually kind of expressed, they're a little bit tripped coming into this opening game of a tournament. Nerves can come into play. These aren't really the most experienced players in a tournament setting, and then you add the fact that this is being streamed. That adds another level.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised as if nerves came into play with that missed ban, and when you get nervous, sometimes you fall back on the comfort picks. And in this instance, I am pretty sure that Master Yi is 100% being taken because it's more comfortable than something which may be a bit more meta like the Olaf.
Yeah, exactly. I want to point out a couple things, though, is that there is no real AD carry on the side of AQ. So whether we are seeing a Nautilus support powered by the Talia, which I think is probably the safest pick there. It's very interesting. I can kind of see how it would work. Whether they might play an AD Talia. She does have enough peel by herself and enough poke and the extra movement speed with her Q that justifiably it might work, but also it just could be full AP. Or it just could be a Master Yi AD carry. We'll see when we get into game.
What I find interesting is no one swapped their roles around.
Yes.
So it also could be a situation where assuming we did line up in, proper pro order, we're looking at an Akali top with a Nautilus jungle. Renekton's going to rock the mid, and it's a support Yi. Something which I have never seen, but now I'm silently hoping that Mr. TMP is going to be taking that Yi in support. Maybe you get like Rush of Frozen Mallet, go full tank and you just try to work off slows with your auto. It probably wouldn't work, but I'm here to see some innovation,
Yeah, hey, look, the metas are defined by weird choices, Predator Gragas was made by the fact that people were just trying to see what would work. Maybe support Yi is the next big thing. Fasting Center is another example of that. Trial and error. You never know what will come out of these things. Personally, I would love to create my own meta. That's why I tried playing Relentlessly Nico support to try to make it catch on. Didn't work. Didn't mean I didn't try. But as well, just going over that last pick on the side of SPCC was a Rakan support there. So I'm looking at the side of SPCC and they have a lot of knockups and a lot of CC. It's going to be very, very difficult for AQ to get ahead there, especially as Yi, with someone like Yi who doesn't want to get CC'd at all. We'll see how that plays out there.
It's all about picking engagements. You pick the right time to go in, and perhaps TMP will find some success on the Yi. Although I do agree, if we're going to look at a proper team fight situation, I'm going to be heavily leaning on SPCC and what they have put together. It's pretty much as close to a stock standard front to back as you can get without having a true frontline tank. You still have those bruisers up front with the set, with the J4. You have your crowd control and displacement with Nico and Rakan. And Kaisa is someone who can come charging right on in as well with the team with that killer instinct and absolutely blow up a back line. And unfortunately, outside of Julian the Legend on this Nautilus, there's not going to be much protection for the back line of AQ in this matchup.
I guess you don't need a back line if all you do is run it straight.
Well, that's kind of just it, though, isn't it? Like, both teams just kind of want to run straight at each other with the exception of perhaps thunderstorms on the Talia. So I think we might see some Infinity War situations or where you have the two giant armies just sort of amassing and just barreling straight at each other, probably while screaming a lot in their comms. That's kind of what I'm going to be expecting in this eventually. And then when those key dragon fights or perhaps even that key baron fight comes into play, it all comes down to spacing, predicting your engagements, picking the right engagements, and then coming out on top. I think some of these team fights are going to be absolutely pandemonium, crazy levels of fun, but they're also going to be what determines this game.
100%. Just looking purely at the team fight potential, you do look at the side of AQ, they're very pick focused. Like, as Yi, if you don't manage to get that first pick immediately, you kind of lose out on the extra bonuses. It'd also be interesting to see whether he took Ghost, which, is just another Master Yi ult on top of the extra more movement speed. Hey, I love more movement speed. Give me more movement speed. When it was a thing, I played Quinn with as much like on-hit movement speed as possible, and you would kite people for days. That's when boot enchantment was a thing. Yeah, but I mean, we don't know. You might just run Flash, but who needs Flash when you can run it a million miles an hour?
I mean, we don't even know if he's in the jungle for sure yet, so
That's-
he still could go Ghost Flash. And
Yeah.
again, Ghost Flash support Glacial Augment Yi sounds pretty good to me. That's
all
what
for
I'm
that.
hoping for right now.
And I believe we are jumping into game now. One thing to point out on the side of AQ is the fact that they are running 2 teleports there, one in the mid lane and one in the top lane. So they do have a global advantage, which might help them with their like objective control and flexing the new Talia skin at the same time there. She is not an AD, but a bot carry Talia there, running Dark Harvest. So we'll see how that plays out for her. She does have a lot of roaming potential with her passive, being able to get more movement speed along rocks, and you are going to be able to potentially stack Dark Harvest theoretically twice as often, since there are 2 more people, there is an extra person in the bot lane. But we'll see how that plays out for her.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of pressure for sure going to be placed on that bot lane. I know Talia actually is one of those mages that has frequently gone bot in the past, so
Yeah.
I do expect her to do quite well, although mainly in this early game what I am going to be watching for is going to be those jungle patterns and to see sort of where unused move is going to go and make his move. I don't want him to stay unused throughout this. I do want him to make a serious move at some stage.
Yeah.
And I expect him to go for it early. When you're running a Master Yi jungle like TMP is, typically you're going to try and power farm unless like a gank is presented that golden opportunity. So I expect to be the proactive side, to be that red side, to be SPCC, and I'm curious when unused move will make that first initial move.
Yeah, and also just running with that. I love a Rakan support. I think it's an amazing support champion, especially when it works alongside Xayah. I think Riot did a really good job at implementing how the movement works in terms. It just feels so fluid at all times. So we'll see how that plays into it at the same time. There's a bit of engagement top lane.
Yeah, a bit of an engage it does appear to be. Now, I am a little bit behind you right now, I must add, so I'm going to ask you to call these fights for now.
All right.
until things get changed.
It's alright, hey, jumping over mid-game from colorcaster to play-by-play. It's alright, readjust here. Renekton going in with a nice little stun there on the set. Just bullying him back, but the more you hurt Set, the bigger he gets. That shield is just going to be huge when those full engages happen.
Yeah, obviously they will be, and Set should be able actually to bully an Akali, usually in early levels. Renekton though, not as much. I mean, it's all about, again, it's kind of a recurring theme with this one, picking your engagements, picking when you want to go. If you can play off of your passive, did I ask I'm talking about on that Renekton,
Yeah.
then you will be able to win these trades against the likes of a Set. But if you don't, Set will absolutely demolish you right now. I can see in that mini map, it does look as if the Did I Ask is still acting kind of as that aggressor at this stage, shoving waves sort of right into the tower, but he's got to be a bit cautious. Renekton can be very susceptible to a gank at this stage. Fortunately, unused move is kind of more bot side focused at the moment, but he's got to be cautious moving forward.
Yeah, some trading going down the bottom lane, abilities being thrown around, but nothing that we haven't seen before. No engages, really. And Nautilus will be the big one, and it lands upon the Kai'Sa there. The knockback, the slows, the Rakan trying to do as much as he can, but the exhaust is thrown down onto the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa runs away. A few summoner spells being blown there, mainly the exhaust on the side of AQ and the heal on the side of SPCC, but Kai'Sa manages to survive that CC onslaught. Really good combo. Nautilus being able to hold down Talia, and then Talia being able to use that for pretty much free extra damage there, popping that off. So we'll see how that plays into the future there. I was just going to say before that it's kind of funny the fact that Set's kind of the definition of like, I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever, like everything bounces off me and then goes back to you, just with the way that his W works. Very funny. But, you know, just basic trading, basic going back and forth here. Nothing that we don't see in usual. I would say this is more like, you know, these type of games tend to be more solo queue based, so we'll probably see a lot more engagement than what we do in a more professional sense.
Yes, it does look like we've gone back into the game, and I can kind of see us live right now. So progress has been made. That's good to see. I also want to throw out, I was really impressed with the patience, actually, of both sides before in that bot lane.
Yeah.
Each team, you know, did held on to their summoners. We didn't see any sort of crazy engages at that stage.
Yeah.
However, moving forward right now, again, still trying to track junglers right now. No one's really made that big sort of first big initial move to really be that more proactive team. Again, based on the team compositions, I'm still expecting SPCC to be the one who pulls the trigger, especially with their laners now kind of getting shoved back underneath towers. And it's something that I believe this J4 has noticed. He should be on the bot side. He should be looking at that Cloud Drake and going, all right, now is that time to make a move.
Yeah.
Although with the bot side resetting, I'm not sure that's going to be the case.
Well, it looked like that Kai'Sa and the Rakan both wanted to go back, so that was probably I mean, yeah, unfortunately not the perfect time for Jake to start anything, but Renekton is now going in on the set there to both level 6. The power slam coming through, the huge face breaker coming out. But Renekton just survives.
Renekton gets out of this one alive. The showstopper, I think, was probably used a bit prematurely in that instance. Definitely was looking for the all-in, and I'm not entirely sure why.
Yeah.
Worst case, like best case scenario in this, okay, you're going to force the Renekton back, but still sitting on teleport does mean that not too much is going to be lost, and if anything, that might open the door perhaps for more pressure on the bot side of the map should AQ look to make a play for that dragon.
Yeah,
if Renekton... Yeah,
no,
if
continue.
Renekton's smart, he's just going to go ahead and walk it back to lane.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, if anything, you kind of want to save that set ult until Renekton ults, because he does get that extra health, and the AoE aura would only help proc set's passive even more. So, I feel like I mean, if anything, Set should be using the ult as more of a reaction to whenever Renekton ults.
Yeah, either that or just trying to actually secure the kill maybe more towards the end.
Yeah.
Still not, again, a really passive game, and this is not something I was...
You say that, but the Master Yi is now making his way topside. Renekton manages to land a Sonic Alpha Strike going out, the forcing the flash from Set. Set slowly swaggering his way back to his turret. Walks out of there, and nothing blown but a flash. And he still does have TP as well, so he's semi-safe. Kai'Sa has picked up the pickaxe and making her way back into lane, choosing pickaxe over tier. May have seen I think it was a post on the subreddit that was discussing whether it was more beneficial to get tier over pickaxe. And I think the general consensus is that a pickaxe is much better for your casters, like your Ezreal and your Kai'Sa. I would tend to believe the other side, but you know, everyone to their own choice.
Yeah, speaking of people making their own choices and maybe not necessarily the correct one, I'm a bit surprised SPCC didn't immediately bum rush that dragon the second they saw the gank happening up top. They had bot side control just because J4 is sitting down there for a majority of this game. Instead, though, they're continuing to play this cautious, and that largely has to do with the bot side of AQ. This Nautilus Talia combo has been doing such a good job keeping the bot lane of SPCC kind of stuck on their tower, unwilling to do anything. It's kind of carried over to the junglers and even to the mid laners to a lesser extent. So great map control coming from the blue side right now, and if this continues, it's definitely going to help them get to that late game where this blue side will start to truly excel.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many times that J4 has come down for a potential dragon, but bot lane is just not in a situation to take advantage of that. Looking at the warding situation as well, AQ has so many wards over the map. They've got a lot of control wards down there. They've got that control ward sitting in Dragon Pit that's, I mean, hasn't been noticed. As I say that, it's just been pinged out by SPCC, so they will be taking that one down. But the top side of the map as well is just so AQ ward heavy.
It's still a 9+ minute first dragon take, and what that would tell me is we're not going to be seeing
a little bit of damage there in the top lane, throwing out the punch, seeing if anything can land, but Renekton's going to force the minions back into the tower. J4 possibly looking for a gank mid there, trying to do anything. J4 has been farming all game alongside Yi, but I feel like he loses out on, I mean, as J4, you want to be ganking, whereas Yi, you just want to be kind of power farming there, as you said in the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to look at which junglers had the larger impact, 100% it would be TMP on this Yi right now. Again, the point I was trying to make before, though, about this dragon, we're now going to be approaching 10 before the first dragon is taken.
Yeah.
Soul might not even come into play until around 30 minutes at this stage. That's going to put a huge priority on Baron.
Yeah.
And such a small priority on Dragons in the future. All of a sudden, topside has started looking real good. And if you've been paying attention, you'd know that it's the blue side that's been focusing the top side of the map. And that's really just a case of SPCC not playing optimal macro. And it's something that's really going to cost them once we get much later into this game.
Yeah, the sets, just looking at what the set's building as well, he's gone for the Blade of the Ruin King, which will definitely help in his matchup. However, I feel like there's not enough tankiness to really justify that Blade of the Ruin King pickup. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are there's a cat jumping on my lap and now crying at me. I'm not sure the camera or like the microphone picked that up right as you asked that question. Do you want to go outside? No? No, you just want to be a distraction? Try to pull my attention away from this game of League of Legends? Look, back to your question at hand. I believe it was about J4's itemization, correct?
It was about sets itemization there, going for a Blade
sets
of the Ruin
itemization.
King.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan.
J4 going in, however, getting caught out by the Master Yi. They're going in hard here. The knockup coming up from Rakan, but the Nautilus is just there to come back. There's a lot of abilities being thrown out there. Kali managing to pick up a kill. Talia putting on the pressure, forcing Rakan to burn his ultimate just for the extra movement speed. And if I was AQ right now, I would not be going back. I would be picking up Dragon, but they are going back there. Look, no, they're turning around now. And now, yes.
Dragon. All right. Someone made the correct shot call right there. I was about to come down like a hammer on this AQ side, but no, it's definitely, you win that fight, you take that Dragon, and this Dragon is a symptom of the lack of action coming from SPCC. They had plenty of opportunities to make a move on this bot side. I've been calling for it for a while. They play a bit too passive, wait a little bit too long, and by this stage, you know, topside priority has already gone to AQ. Why not throw everyone bot side? Let's get both, because SPCC clearly didn't want it. And all of a sudden, you have the later scaling team.
The Renekton going in on the set, so Set's trying to react as much as he can, but ultimately, both champions are going to be walking away after blowing all their kit to walk away with pretty much the exact same health there.
Yeah, it's just a bit of poke. Just friendly poking at each other, just some
things.
Trading. Yeah, just top lane things. They're on an island right now. I think that last fight down below definitely has made that clear.
Yeah.
So I don't expect anyone to really go for a kill in that top side of the map. I mean, we already saw what happened when the Showstopper got pulled by Happy Face.
Yeah.
It didn't result in anything, and sort of that's where we're going to be at in this top lane for that near future. I expect more of the action to be involved when junglers or mid laners get involved at this stage of the game. And speaking of which, both junglers are kind of been starting to posture around that Rift Herald.
Yeah, the J4 is in a little bit of a precarious situation there. The Akali did ping that, but luckily Nico is nearby that the Akali didn't want to go in. If I was J4, I would be looking at trying to gank any lane right now. I feel like he's played incredibly passive, but as we were saying before, playing passive against a Yi who also just wants to power farm, you're just going to lose out in the end game.
Yeah, and again, I kind of hinted at this one where I wanted to talk about, like, I'm not too thrilled with Esports itemization. Yeah. This is one of the few games where I'd like to see him go Warrior as opposed to Cinderhulk. Really play to that aggressive side. By the time you hit level 6 through 8, if you have that Warrior completed, you're going to be doing so much damage. You'll have so much Dragon control. You'll be able to actually play for Rift Heralds as well. And essentially, it'll be a case of, can we finish the game before our opponents really start to rise and spike and power off?
Yeah.
By opting not to do that, I almost feel as if SPCC is kind of playing more into AQ's strengths. They're each going to be going for that late game. And while, yes, you do have champions like the Kai'Sa, but I think of champions like Nico, Rakan, Set as well, I want them to see them pop off more in that early mid-ish game, not so much the later game. And I think they're going to struggle.
A nice hook onto the Kai'Sa, however, Rakan is forced to dash back, but there's just Nautilus holding the lane by himself. I mean, that is a beefy juggernaut. Juggernaut?
I mean,
Juggernaut.
Yeah, I like Juggy.
Juggy?
He's been juggy. He kind of looks like a jug, especially with that space suit on.
Yeah. Astro Nautilus. Great pun. And mate, whoever that person to write needs a raise. That's a great pun.
I agree.
But yeah, going back to what you were saying, definitely that J4 should have been a lot more proactive. And with that, it's interesting to see he's gone for that tankier build, but still went Conqueror, say, over Aftershock.
Exactly. I mean, Conqueror, look, yeah, if you wanted to double down on the tank, you can go the Aftershock, but Conqueror does everything.
Yeah,
so many
enough.
tanks to conquer as well. It's a little overtuned in my opinion right now. I think I'm not going to come down hard on that conqueror pick. What I wanted to see, like, because you still have that flexibility. Now, if we had seen him go electrocute and then go tank, then I would have had to choose.
Electrocute, J4 support. Hey, you know what? Nothing wrong with a bit of AP Jarvan, right? You throw down those flags, they appear instantly. They do like 300 damage. Hey, I love me some AP Jarvan.
Flag drag auto, when you pull off with electrocute, actually does a ridiculous amount of damage.
There's the Jarvan as well, being really proactive. They managed to score Rift Herald. Now, it's a little bit too late as the 14-minute mark has already passed, so the plating is down, so they won't be able to receive that extra goal. But however, first tower is still a thing, so they might be able to potentially snag that top lane, which is look like where they're going.
Yeah, you should drop it now, I reckon. Now would be a good time to do it with so much pressure being put on the bot side. You want to take something in return. It does look like AQ has recognized, okay, we're probably going to have to see top. Maybe not with how aggressive this Renekton is playing.
The is hovering around the bot side, so they might be looking at going for a little bit of a tower dive there, as the Herald takes down some damage, some health off the tower, but isn't enough to finish it off, as it kind of is just left to die. Dragon is up very soon, in about 36 seconds there, so if anything, if I was J4 right now, I would want to rotate down there as fast as possible.
Unless you're willing to concede this Dragon, which could still be a possibility. It's sort of picking your battles at this stage, and we kind of saw how that first fight went. If J4 isn't going to start helping, you know, his team push that top side, then absolutely, you go down, you contest the Dragon, you fight for it. However, you still have, like, the Rift Herald. You could have made that play up top instead. For whatever reason, you decided not to. I'm a little bit concerned on that one. It's a tough situation. These are sort of those decisions that you have to play the game a lot and sort of learn and work as a team. What would you value, trading or looking for fights in these situations? I would have valued trading, especially when behind, but that might not be in the MO of SPCC.
Yeah, and then speaking about dragons, it's already been taken. Yi and Akali just managed to snag that. I don't think I saw a single ping come out from the side of SPCC. I didn't even know if they were aware that they were doing it. But it will be, I believe that is an Infernal Drake there, so we'll see a little bit of extra firepower. But I guess it's all, the biggest thing for me when these new dragon changes came through, and there was the chance to get Dragon Soul, whether it was the fact that if you don't manage to get that first dragon, right, do you potentially go for that second drag and then get 3 stacks of the Infernal Cloud Drake Mountain Water Drake, right? Or do you concede the second one and then get 4 stacks, depending on what the dragon type was?
I like
Nautilus managing to grab the Kai'Sa there, the Julia accidentally popping the wrong way, but that doesn't matter. Nautilus is going to be able to pick up the kill onto the Kai'Sa as Rakan blows his ult, just run away again, but Nautilus says, no, get over here. Max range pull, and Rakan ain't looking good. Here comes Jarvan to potentially gank onto the Akali. Movement coming everywhere around the map. The flag and drag not being able to hit. Akali is trying to do everything she can, manages to essentially 1v2 there, picking up a double kill. And there's that solo carry potential coming out of Akali. As Rakan, buddy, you gotta run. It is not safe for you anymore. You gotta get out of there. That tower is no longer yours.
Jongsta was one of the players on AQ coming into this match. He was expressing nerves and trepidation. Also, if you remember, they missed the ban. That would have come from Jongsta. I don't think he's feeling nervous anymore after that bit of outplay right there we saw from the Akali. Fantastic job absorbing that gank and turning it right back around. It's what you want to see from the player who we are suspecting is probably that team captain.
Yeah, and as you were saying, Akali does have her 1-item power spike. She has that Gunblade. She has so much healing coming from that item. And essentially, she 1v2'd. Even with that Jarvan there, it just goes to show that Jarvan didn't have enough early game pressure to even be seen as a threat now. Even him showing into lane, Akali's looked at that and was like, yeah, I like my odds, and then took it and then grabbed the double kill.
Yeah, and it just came from the power of positioning really throughout that fight. Unfortunately for stacked as well as unused move, they never really got themselves in a place where they could sort of pincer and pin that Akali down. A lot of the critical abilities did miss. The big ones, of course, being that flag and drag, and the Cataclysm was used way too late.
Akali finding the Jarvan in the jungle. My friend, you're trying to take blue, but Akali might take your life here. Nico trying to do everything to help, but Akali picks up another kill as Yi pops his ult, going straight in. He's in alpha right now, manages to chunk a little bit off of Nico, but Nico responds with a little bit more damage of her own volition. But still, that's another kill for Akali and SPCC. That's another nail in the coffin, I'd say.
I'm just shaking my head right now. Why are you going for invades with Baron up, down like you are right now, and no vision established? Now, you can go for these plays if you have the vision, if you know where the other team is. But when you don't know where the other team is, you kind of get chased around and sometimes brought down like we just saw right there. It's not a good situation. And again, I go back to SPCC. I think this is a younger team. This is a newer team. This isn't the colors. This isn't the senior team.
Rakan trying to go in onto the Talia there. The Kai'Sa comes through with the ult, but not managing to find that final little bit of damage there. The Rakan also gets out with his life. Pops the ult, trying to do as much as he can, just trying to keep Kai'Sa alive. Nautilus pulls the Kai'Sa back in. The Talia ult comes out, holds her down, and Talia manages to pick up a double kill. That ultimate zoned them into a little kill lane there, and that was a really nice engage by the Nautilus. And unfortunately, Rakan saw a moment where he could have potentially done something, but that Nautilus is just so tanky at the moment. But the action doesn't stop there. The Renekton's ulting. He's trying to get the stun down on to the set there. Akali pops up the showstopper, the suplex. The people's elbow comes out from the set. Try to stay alive, but my friend, I would get out of there if I were you. That tower is half health. He's trying to do as much as he can. The Akali follows through. The huge shield trying to save him as much as he can, but the Akali ult picks him up. Even under tower, you are not safe. This Akali is 5-0, and she is just dominating over the map. Whew.
I think one of the biggest problem wrestlers have is they never know when to back down from a losing fight.
Yeah.
Plenty of opportunities right there from Happy Face to get out of it, but instead, the second the teleport arrives, he just drops the showstopper right onto Jongsa and says, nah, I'll try and 2v1 you. I saw what you did before, but I'm going to one-up you. And, well, the cost of failure with that one is going to be that topside tower. Now, I do like SPCC moving as 4 right now. They could be looking to set up and actually might make a play for this dragon. So this is the best use of teamwork I've seen. We do see AQ, though. They might step up the challenge.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Renekton still does have teleport. So even still, it might be a 4v4, but I mean, the set's teleported in now, so it definitely will be a 5v5. We're looking at a little bit of a clown fiesta. Potentially, that might happen there. The Akali has picked up her Zhonya's, so she has hit another item power spike there as they try to melt down the dragon. Yi looking for the correct moment to pop back over. However, I can see if SPCC can finish off this dragon here. They do not manage to do it as Yi comes in for the steal there. Yi just doing what Yi do best, popping the ult, trying to pick up as many kills as possible. The Rakan realizing that he can't do much. There is kills picked up over the entire bot side there. Everyone pops so quickly, I couldn't talk about it, but there is a 5-man just ace on the side of AQ. A dragon, that's their 3rd dragon of the game, and looks like a mid tower as well. I don't know if SPCC could react in time to just what happened.
This is why I'm not a coach, okay? That was the best play I had seen from SPCC thus far. They lose a fight up top. They're like, you know what, let's turn this to advantage down below. Let's take this dragon. Let's start working towards our own sword, maybe delaying the inevitable. The result, dragon stolen and ace. Now, I still like the decision. I just feel like it's come maybe 10 minutes too late in this situation.
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking now for this SPCC side. They're back against the wall. I don't know if they're coming back from this one. We're nearing that sort of 10K mark, which is when you sort of pull out your wallet. You feel how fat and heavy it is, and you just start beating your opponents with it. That's kind of what we're getting to right now. This is the power of the wallet. That's going to carry this AQ side to victory.
The hidden League of Legends champion, the wallet. Definitely a really nice proactive approach there from SPCC. Unfortunately, just, as you said, it was too little too late. If that happened potentially 10 minutes earlier, great, really good initiative there. But it gets to a stage now where, what do you do as SPCC? How do you come back into this game? Do you wait for AQ to do a Baron and then react to them taking that Baron and potentially, have a second ally there with Baron? Or what do? You don't do what the Rakan is doing right now and blindly walk into the jungle. He pops the ult, but the gun blade comes through with the Akali, and the Akali finds a Nico as well. A 2 for the price of 1. It is a Thursday, so there we go. The Shroud being thrown out, and Akali is not stopping. This mid lane is now hers. Whoa, you can't even walk into your own jungle now. SPCC has lost a lot of control.
They've lost this game. Look, I try to be Mr. Optimistic when I'm, you know, kind of more playing play-by-play, but when you get me in my suit, my tie, going full analysis mode, I'm sorry. I do feel like this game might be done.
Yeah.
SPCC, I think they recognized the situation too little too late where they had to group together, they had to make those team plays. If they had done that a bit earlier, this game would have been a lot closer. However, that sort of lack to play to the side strengths, the lack to capitalize on their more early game advantages, maybe some improper itemization. Again, Blade of the Ruin King, happy face.
Yeah.
Not the best. Going full tank J4 against a big scaling comp, probably not the best. These little things, they're easy to fix, and you can go back, you can watch the film, you learn from them, and you improve your next time out. But for this game, these are sort of those decisions that really came back to hurt SPCC, and now they're just losing tower after tower. They no longer have control of their jungle. Baron, I imagine, is not going to be too long for this world. Eventually, AQ is going to recognize, hey, we win fights. We can probably take that as well, and as soon as that Baron goes down, that's probably going to be the end of this game.
Yeah, these matches, especially on the side of SPCC, are learning. Yeah, no, you gotta learn. You gotta make mistakes to learn from them. And there's the J4 getting fought out by 4 members of AQ there. He gets taken down. Yi manages to find the Kai'Sa, pops the old Akali, managing to find Rakan as well. The Nico coming out, a huge stun underneath tower. Nico managing to get the first kill on the side of SPCC for the Master Yi, so they didn't get 0 kills this game, but that was a really, really nice ult from Nico, but again, a little bit too little too late as they managed to take down an inhibitor tower, most likely an inhibitor. I'd say the death timers are a little bit too small to potentially finish the game out, but Set, the Nautilus landing some amazing hooks this game, managing to find another one, and that is, I mean, a potential Dragon Soul and a Baron at the same time.
So, 2 things I want to take away from what we just saw right there. The first, big credit to Stack right there. That was a 4-man Pop Blossom, so a huge time to try and turn things around. And as that fight was happening, guess what? Happy Face was up top. He was trying to sort of trade momentum and try, you take this, we'll take that. Again, far, far, far too late. This is stuff that should have been happening at like the 5, 10, 15-minute mark, not at the 25-minute mark when you're down 10K. So I'm liking that they've sort of adapted their playstyle, and now they're doing more of the correct sort of moves when they're behind. Again, I'm worried it's a bit too late. The dredge line obviously was fantastic from Julian the Legend. Just gonna throw that out there. It's not like I don't want to talk about this winning AQ side, but I'm focusing more on SPCC right now because I feel this team, they kind of know what to do. They're from a school with a lot of, you know, higher up students, a lot of seniors who can teach them and help them improve. And maybe they can go back on the spot and improve. So that's why I'm focusing more on them. Like, I'm sorry, AQ.
The Akali managing to find out the Jarvan gets taken out as he grabs the dragon there. Rakan popping his ult, just trying to stay alive, but Akali backflipping in, finding a double kill with 1 hit of a Q there. The Nautilus, however, just holding down the Nico with all his CC. Nico tried to pop ult, but it wasn't fast enough as this Talia manages to find her 7th kill of the game. We talked about her not potentially finding that carry position in the bot lane, but she has the Magi stack. She's on 25, the max stats. The Nexus towers are going down. They don't need Baron. They've got Dragon Soul there to Set, trying to do as much as he can. But my friend, you cannot shield when you don't have time to press shield. Jarvan is up. Don't know if he's going to be able to do anything. The flag drag coming out, but however, getting stopped immediately and getting deleted in a couple seconds there. And then the Rakan spawning. It is a 1. Just a falling in 1-on-1 as they try to dive the Nexus there. A few kills been found there for SPCC, but unfortunately that comes from just the laser beam helping them at the very end, and there is a victory for AQ. I mean, that was to be expected, as you said.
Yeah, it was to be expected. The moment they lost that dragon fight, it was kind of all over for them, unfortunately. That was sort of the catalyst to the end, and from what we saw from AQ from the start of that series, they were competent enough that they knew once they had that established lead, they know how to finish. So I was kind of thinking, all right, this game's over. And then, unfortunately, after the game was over, SPCC starts doing the things that they needed to do before that stage.
Yeah.
So, it's a work in progress. It's an improvement.
Yeah,
and I definitely don't want to give up on this side. The other thing I want to point out, though, because I've been talking about SPCC a lot. Let's talk about AQ, and let's talk about that AQUINAS right
Yeah.
First of all, I'm just saying it right now, just straight up. I don't care what you have to say about it, MVP. And here is why. Oh my God, Cat's jumping on my arm. Okay, Cat disagrees with me, but we also don't care about what the Cat thinks.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you noticed it was 12-0 coming into that last fight, all right?
Correct.
Nico only had 4 deaths.
Yeah.
That means that this mid laner, this AQUINAS, was able to take that small advantage, take it to the top lane, take it to the bot lane, take it into the jungle, and just give everyone some of that lead. And that's the difference between, you know, why you're losing solo queue. Like, I'm 8-0, why can't you guys do anything? Well, you killed the 0-8 mid laner over and over again. But being able to take your advantage, take it throughout the map, give everyone that same advantage, guess what? That's how you win games. That's how you sort of stomp as a team, like we saw right here. So AQUINAS, MVP.
Oh,
Done.
100%. I agree with every point that you've made. Definitely was kind of the starting point that really tipped AQ, the catalyst of how AQ started to win. Especially since, I mean, J4, like that early gank where AQUINAS managed to pick up the double kill, just kind of steamrolled from there. So definitely that. In terms of the other team to give the Ace award over, I'm kind of leaning towards that set. He did show like a lot of initiative in terms of being like proactive, and it's really hard as a top laner to have that greater effect when you have lost it out in the mid lane and it's starting to unravel. But he did a lot of things that, I mean, if worked upon, especially it's like good form but poor execution, like that's kind of, I feel like, the motto for SPCC there. Like a lot of good stuff, but just not early enough or just not at the right time. But I feel like that set definitely did a really good job at demonstrating kind of what we were looking for.
I have to agree. I would go to the set when it comes for the Ace in that game. I mean, Renekton is not easy to lane against. Granted, set usually can take a bit of a beating and throw it back, but I don't know. He just was able to hold that lane well, was able to freeze it, put it in a prime position to actually have some J4 support. Yeah. Unfortunately, at that time, J4 was down in the bot lane. I thought it was to set up Dragon, but that never wound up happening. Yeah. So not too sure what was going on down there, but top laner did what he was supposed to do for those first 10 minutes. If I can't be critical of him, except for maybe that one time when he tried to force an all-in, which stood no chance. But even then, he put himself in a position where he wouldn't get punished for it. So definitely the Ace goes to the J4, MVP goes to the AQUINAS. I'm happy to say, yep, we can drop the mic on those two.
Yeah, cool. Well, I think that's all from us today, so make sure you hit that follow button to see when we go live. I believe next week will be the next time. I mean, yeah, of course. Week 2 of the Chisholm Invitational, so you'll see our two faces back here. Big thanks again to Lenovo for sponsoring this tournament, and we will catch you. I mean, do you have anything else you want to say? Any shout outs? Any following? Any social medias you want to shout out?
Yeah, you know what? I think I will say this one right now. Obviously, this is a new tournament, so things on the broadcast may have looked a little rough. It may have been choppy at times. I don't think this remote thing is going to be happening. You won't be seeing this kitchen again, partially because I'm getting kicked out on Monday, so fun. But no, in all seriousness, hopefully we'll be able to be on set again. The overlays will be a bit fixed up, a bit more aligned. They were a little off cue. Start of a tournament, these little things happen, so we do hope you do stick with us to see how this tournament progresses.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all from us here for the Chisholm Invitational. We will catch you next week. Again, I've been Chwaya. That's been Formal. We'll catch you on the other side.
Trained eye, you look like everyone else. Embrace it with a machine that's worthy of you. Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo, powered by Intel Core i7 processors.